All right, everybody. Good late morning on this Tuesday, and we've got some Pro Football Focus stuff to take a look at now. Usually, I would be doing this the day after the game, but it got really late last night, and I was like, you know what? I usually don't post a lot on Tuesday anyway. Let's just push the video back to Tuesday. So we're doing it now. Pro Football Focus, the defense, and we gave up 38 points. We had 0 turnovers forced. We had 1 sack on Baker. You guess if the defense did any good. You figure it out. I don't think I need to I don't think I need to expand on why the defense played really bad on Sunday, but let's take a look at the details. Let's take a look at what Pro Football Focus thinks. As you guys know, I'm not saying that PFF gets everything right, not at all, but I do think it's worth looking at, and they do some objective stats that I think are very useful. Back in 60 seconds. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you guys about Sleeper. I'll tell you a little secret as well. It's more than just a platform for fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users have enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but there's so much more to it. You have live stats, real-time updates of all stats. You have a news feed with lightning-fast updates on players and teams, and a real-time chat where you can engage with other users about plays, performances, games, all kinds of stuff during the sports season. So download Sleeper, experience it for yourself, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit, and pair that with their new promo that will give you a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. So you can use both of those promos. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and going. So check out Sleeper today and use those promos. Okay, so the top line defensive grades, let's start there. There's really only 4 guys that were graded really well defensively for the Seahawks, and one of them played 1 snap. So really 3 guys we're talking about here. We got Byron Murphy, the highest graded defender, which, hey, that that's definitely something to take away from this game in the positive category, because again, understand that Murphy is playing out of position, understand that he's being asked to do something that is not really playing to his strengths. The fact that Pro Football Focus thinks that he's playing this well, I mean, it goes to some of the stuff I said earlier this year about Byron Murphy. We're getting a pretty monster second-year jump from him. And the other guy, and this is another one to get really excited about, Eamon Worry, 81.4. And this is, again, in a game where the defense got completely carved up. So he is really doing something right. So that's exciting. Those are your 2 stars for this game, according to PFF. And I thought Eamon Worry played really well based on what I saw in that game. I wasn't sure if PFF was going to see the same thing, but they did. So that's really cool. They also thought he was at least above average, and in most cases well above average in every individual category they look at. And DeAnthony Bell was graded well, but it was 1 play and he got half a sack. So what do you think is going to happen? Kobe Bryant, 61 snaps, so he did play the whole game. So this is very meaningful because he has not been graded that well so far this year. 69.6. So if you believe PFF, and look, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I don't know how good PFF is at evaluating safety play, especially in zone. But if you believe them, Kobe had a pretty good game. And I certainly I didn't think he stood out negatively in that game. So, okay. Reek Woolen's pulling up in 5th place here, which is more an indictment on how bad the defense was rather than anything super positive about him. I guess it shows he's going in the right direction. And look, I think we all learned a tough lesson on Sunday concerning how much we need Woolen right now. Not to say that Woolen is good now, not to say that Woolen's doing everything that he needs to be doing for this team at this moment, but he's a long way better than anybody else we have. And that includes guys like Darion Kendrick, who was miserable on Sunday, and guys like Josh Jobe, who overall this year has been better than Woolen. Don't get me wrong, I'm not arguing to the contrary, but we can't ask those guys to play 60-plus snaps a game and expect them to hold up. And Woolen has the guy that has proven that he can do that consistently for this team in recent years at least. Seems more likely that he gets his mojo back than Darion Kendrick finds mojo that he never really had. Jaron Reed, average. Uchenna Nwosu, average, despite actually getting a lot of pressures going, which I think just speaks to a lack of general efficiency. Boye Mafe, average. Leonard Williams, about average. The penalties aren't helping there, but I don't know. He's definitely not playing at the level that he was last year overall, I think. Just not as consistently dominant, but still really good player. Still really like having him around. Still don't know if I'd give him a 58.4, but the defensive line was certainly below standard in this game. Josh Jobe, slightly below average. I think that's probably pretty reasonable. Okada, below average. Derek Hall, only 8 snaps, but below average. Mike Morris, pretty bad. Peely, pretty bad on 10 snaps. And then you get down to the really, really bad grades here. And there are 5 guys, and they all played significant snaps, which that's how you get the result that you got on Sunday. You get this many players that are this bad. Although, we're going to have to contest things a little bit here. You got Drake Thomas at 50.2. Okay. I didn't get the sense he played good. Tyrese Knight right there with him. So both those guys are absolutely hanging right now, and we need one of them to step up, or we need a new player, period. Darion Kendrick, 35.6. I don't hate that. I think he was really bad. Pritchett, 31.8. Yeah, I don't think anybody will argue with that. Ernest Jones pulls up the rear here with a 28. Maybe I didn't notice because of how bad guys like Pritchett and Kendrick and Knight and Thomas were. I did not think that Ernest Jones was doing anything all that offensive in that game. I mean, we stopped the run. Like the Tampa Bay couldn't run the ball on us at all. And I'm looking at the grades, and most of it comes from coverage, and okay, maybe, but Ernest Jones, our worst defensive player by a pretty sizable margin. PFF has never been the biggest fan in the world of Ernest Jones, but I'm having a hard time seeing this one. I don't think that's reflective of reality, but if anybody would like to step up to the plate here a little bit, feel free. Okay. Let's take a look at the missed tackle count real quick. It's not as high as I thought. I'll admit that. The only player that we had missed multiple tackles, according to PFF, was Ernest Jones, which, okay, maybe that's part of the problem here. I still don't think 28.2 is a particularly fair assessment just because a guy missed 2 tackles. But we had 1 from Kendrick, 1 from Knight, 1 from Thomas, 1 from Okada. Leonard Williams had 1. Nwosu, Woolen, Kobe. So nothing really egregious here. It's bad, but 10 missed tackles, that's not that much worse than what we saw in previous games. Tackling's been a problem for this team in general this year. I would have guessed it would have been worse. Okay, moving along here, run defense, just briefly looking at this page here. I mean, the grading is not great, which is kind of interesting because stopping the run is about the only thing the Seahawks did right. And you can see Byron Murphy, this is where his good grade in part comes from. 3 run stops on 13 opportunities playing on the defensive line. Really good. Had 2 run stops from Ty Okada. And I think that's it. Everybody else either had 1 or none. And included in the none category would be Ernest Jones. So maybe we're kind of understanding how Pro Football Focus got to their conclusion, but I think that if you're trying to say that Ernest Jones was our worst player on defense on Sunday, I don't see how you could argue that. Maybe Ernest Jones wasn't a big part of the success, but to say that he was the reason for the failure, I don't know. But I'll try to be open-minded here as we go through these charts. So that's it for the run defense. Pass rush, better than I would have expected, honestly. I'm just gonna say that. Like, I felt like we touched Baker twice that whole game. Pro Football Focus gave us 12 pressures, including 4 from Uchenna Nwosu. So not that Nwosu played a great game, but he is he is the best we got right now, and he's the only hope we have to get pressure on a lot of these plays, it feels like. Not a ton other than that. Leonard Williams had 2 pressures, Boye Mafe had 2 pressures, but seemed like Baker was consistently able to escape pressure and still make a play. So a lot of these pressures just feel kind of empty. And that's probably why I'm sitting here wondering why the number's so high when it felt like it should have been more like maybe 5. it felt like a lot of our pressures just didn't negatively impact plays for Tampa. One pressure for Murphy, and of course Bell had the half sack. Eamon Worry with the pressure, so using him on the blitz effectively. Mike Morris with the pressure. Obviously not having Derek Hall for most of that game, not having any D-Law. That's part of the issue here, but I think that when you look at Tampa Bay's offensive line that has two backups out there, you need something better than this. So yeah, that's really all I can say about it. I don't know. 12 still seems high, but make no mistake, 12 on PFF is not good. You need to do a lot better. 12 pressures according to PFF, that's not going to look good on the PFR sheets later. Coverage. So let's break it down here. Let's try to maybe seek to understand what PFF saw, and maybe we can understand what how they got to where they got. So the guys who were graded well in coverage, it was really just three guys. Mafe, who barely covers, 4 covered snaps, whatever. Eamon Worry and Kobe Bryant. Those guys were graded well. Now, Eamon Worry got targeted 4 times, gave up 4 completions, but only 13 yards. So I can live with that. I can take that all day. I am pretty darn thrilled if my slot corner gets targeted 4 times and give us up 13 yards. So I'm down with that. But once you get past those guys, you got Mike Morris here who had 2 covered snaps, whatever. Everybody else, man, look at all this. Everybody else is getting dotted up except for, ironically, Ty Okada somehow. Now, I'm just going to say it. I don't know if PFF is on the right wavelength here. I think they're giving credit and blame to some of the wrong guys. Like, I'm thinking about that deep shot Tampa Bay took to Egbuka. It was like the 57-yarder on 3rd and long. I feel like that was on Okada's head. I feel like Okada did something very wrong on that play. Maybe Job did as well, but it looks like they're giving that play to Josh Job. So it's one of those things where I think maybe Job is more to blame than Okada, but it's wrong to say that Okada did nothing wrong. And it feels wrong to say he gets no objective statistical blame for it. But anyway, just to be clinical here, Josh Job, 2 targets, 61 yards. Really, really bad. Granted, it all came on one big play, but it's one big play we can't afford. Reek Woolen, 3 targets, 38 yards. So in the best game he's played all season, still gets dotted up pretty badly, and probably would have been worse if he didn't get hurt. Let's be real here. The only guy who looks okay here is Okada. And when I say okay, I mean okay, because I still don't think it was 4 targets for 24 yards for a safety is anything to get excited about. Let's see here. Drake Thomas, 4 targets, 29 yards. Not good. Not terrible either, though. I can live with it, I guess, but I can't live with it when this is supposed to be what he's good at, and he's not giving me anything good anywhere else. Nwosu, 1 target, 11 yards. For some reason, they really, really cream him over that. I don't totally understand why. Let's see here. Darion Kendrick, 3 targets, 14 yards, but he gets graded really badly. And honestly, my issue with Kendrick from this game didn't even have a lot to do with coverage. There was some other stuff going on that I really didn't like. Tyrese Knight, 3 targets, 48 yards. Pretty bad. Pretty bad. But again, you have a trade-off right now. Knight's better against the run. Knight is better near the line of scrimmage in general. Thomas is better in coverage, but neither guy's doing anything all that well at the moment. Pritchett, 3 targets, 40 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Not much to say except he's not an NFL player right now, and we'll talk more about this probably later, but I think we have to be a little more critical of Pritchett. This is not some UDFA we picked up 2 days ago. This is a 5th-round pick that's been on the team for a year and a half. And we get to Ernest Jones, and we start to maybe understand why PFF had him so bad. 5 targets, 101 yards. I gotta be honest. I feel like Jones is taking some stuff that probably belongs to some other players. Maybe I need to reevaluate my assessment. I did not feel like it was Ernest Jones getting dotted up in coverage in that game. to this degree compared to other players here. When I think about the big plays that have been posted about and tweeted about over and over and over again defensively from that Tampa Bay game, I don't think of Ernest Jones getting roasted in coverage. I'm thinking about mostly these guys in the secondary, but maybe there is something going on here that's just really, really untenable, and maybe most games we don't notice it because we have a better pass rush. Maybe. I don't know. This is a lot. 100 yards allowed in coverage on 5 targets. I did not come away with that assessment from this game, but I'll be open-minded here. I'll say that, hey, maybe these plays are on Ernest Jones and it's just not readily apparent to me, but I don't know, man. That's a lot. 28.6. That's brutal. Special teams real quick. Nothing super standout. Drake Thomas. I mean, he's providing a lot of value on special teams in this game. A couple of tackles. Derek Young as well, doing his work on special teams. Love that guy. Surratt has been good. O'Toole, Saubert, those guys were kind of your highlights from this game. Lowlights, nothing super strong, but Bobo's at the bottom. So, I mean, I gotta say that if Bobo can't provide special teams value with him already kind of not doing anything offensively, I don't know what he's doing on this roster, and this year's probably his last chance. So turn it up, dude. Turn it up. Okay, that's really all I got. Not a good week. Defense got blasted. And with all these injuries, it may not be getting better this week, but we will be talking about that more later. Everyone have a good day. A couple more videos coming later. Probably streaming tonight. Go Hawks. See you soon.